Our next guest is living proof if you have a dream, you should follow it. In 1994, Diana Richards decided to start her own business. She was often sleeping on her office space floor, putting in some extra hours, and in 2006, she was named an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Today, Vacuum Systems International is going strong, and Diana is here today to share a little bit about her story and also has some inspirational tips for some of our viewers who may want to follow in her footsteps. Welcome to the program, Diana.
Thank you, Karen.
So, sleeping on your office space, you weren't actually on the floor. That was a little faux pas on my part. But what did you?
Started out that way.
Oh, it did.
Then I brought in a couch.
Oh well, I guess I was correct.
Yeah.
So, what did your family and friends think? I mean, how did you end up there at the beginning of your business?
Okay, well, I started the business in 1995, and I was living in Mentor, Ohio. And the office space that we decided to rent was in Valley View. And the drive from Mentor to Valley View is pretty long. And in winter, it can even be much longer. And I remember one morning listening that there was going to be a huge blizzard. So I just decided to pull the comforter off my bed and pillows. And I said, well, if it's going to be a huge blizzard, maybe I'll just sleep there tonight. And I just found out that I was much more productive if I didn't have that long drive, that I could just be there and see the business growing and visualize a lot more if I was in that space. So I decided I had a sofa bed, and I got a guy with a pickup truck and brought it down. And so that's when I started sleeping there.
So you were kind of thinking out of the box a little bit.
Yes, yeah, it just was, I just didn't think that I could run a business on the road. I thought I had to be in the office space, and spending hours on the road in traffic is not productive, and I ended up sleeping there was much more productive. And I actually tell people that I attribute that to the success of my business, because that gives you complete 100% focus. You don't have to worry about traffic or outside anything else. You're just there, and that's very important.
Now tell our viewers a little bit about your business and how you came up with the idea.
Okay. I was married for 25 years, and I raised 2 children, and after 25 years my husband and I were divorced, and I was fortunately invited to, and we had a vacuum cleaner store during 20 years of that marriage, and after that it was closed, and so I was invited to move to Cleveland to work for a chain of 5 vacuum cleaner stores. And I made the move, did not know a soul here. I lived in a Days Inn for a while, and then I was operations manager for the 5 stores, and then I started to see the retail chain employees. And I was like, wow, they're driving clear from a mall to come in here and have a belt changed, and what a waste that is when they could probably change it on site. So I saw a need. That was the first spark of the business. And then I was invited to a chain of 300 stores, and this girl was managing her vacuum cleaner stores and with vacuums, and she said she needed help. And I said, well, tell me how you buy vacuum cleaners and maintain them. So we actually thought up an idea for the helpline. And I sat out in the car and I wrote vacuum in front of it, and that's what we call the vacuum helpline when we answer the phone. And I drove away with a vision of that business so clear that I felt that I could drive to it. But I, of course, didn't have any money or any business plan. And so where I got the money, if you want to hear that good story, I was dating through the personals. Back then, Cleveland Plain Dealer had personal ads. And I would go out on these coffees, and they would say, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm an operations manager, but I have an idea for a business, because it was, you know, intelligent people that I was going out with. So one day this guy said, well, tell me about it. And I went by his office the next day and for 4 hours, and he wrote me a check. And he said, quit your job and start your business.
And you did it right from that day?
I did it right from that day. I went out to the car, I went to we incorporated, I went to a bank, deposited the check in Vacuum Systems, and it never stopped from that day on. I get the chills even thinking about it.
Now,
you
started with just yourself.
Yes.
And I think one account.
Yes,
and
the 300 stores, yes.
Where are we today?
We have 72,000 stores. Gross sales are over 60 million, and it's a very successful, thriving business almost 18 years later.
So only 1% of businesses make it past the first 5 years. You've been in business for quite a long time. What do you attribute your success to?
Well, you asked me to come up with some ideas, so I really contemplated on this last night, and I'm going to go to my notes here because I think I actually read them to my employees this morning. They want me to post them. First, know your passion. My passion was not vacuum cleaners. My passion was helping people. I saw that store associate with a broken belt. And I thought, well, why are they making that drive? You know, the liability, number one. And so my passion was education and helping people to learn more about their vacuum cleaner that they had to use on site. My second would be know your trade, meaning vacuum cleaners is my trade. I know vacuum cleaners. In fact, this year, I would say probably October of this year, I will be 40 years in this industry, and I still love it. So it is very difficult to trip me up if you ask me a vacuum cleaner question. And that's very, very important. If you're going to start a business, know your trade. Let no one trip you up. Know it better than anyone. The third would be to know yourself, know your limits. Know your physical limits, know your financial limits, know how far you can push yourself. Because I know there's a lot out there that say there's a limit list, but there are limits, and you shouldn't run yourself into the ground financially or physically. Know your friends. This is so important because there's so many people when you decide to start a business that are going to say it can't be done. You know, what in the heck are you doing living in a warehouse? You know, go back to that guy, beg him for your job back. This was told to me so many times when I was living in that warehouse. You know, just go back. He'll take you back. You were a great employee. Just go back and ask for your job back. So there's people that are going to be naysayers, and stick with the friends that are going to believe in you, and know your business, and meaning know how to do a financial, know how to hire, know how to fire, know how even to design your space that is most efficient, know your vendors. And so I think those 5 things are the key factors to why this business and myself have been a success.
And you have continued to share a lot of your knowledge with other people.
Yes.
Diana has an email list that she'd like to share with our viewers. It's a positive thought
Yes.
for the day. And when I get that email, sometimes it's like it's a few sentences, but it is the thing I needed to hear that day. You feel like God's speaking to you.
Yeah.
How could our viewers get a little bit of your daily information?
Well, in 2007, I started the thought for the day. I have constantly, and that's another thing why I listen to tapes and read positive thinking books probably every single day of my life. And I see people going through things, and just one day I says, oh, I'm going to send them a little positive thought. It now goes out to over 800 people, and just all over. It actually goes to Australia even. So it just is a thought for the day from all the positive readings and thoughts that I've had over the years. And just send my email, which is D, my first initial, Richards, at VSI, the number 1 and the word source. D Richards at VSI1 source. And I'll put you on the mailing list.
We can get some of your good vibes
Yes.
going our way.
I love writing them. I mean, I write them, and it tells me something too. It's when you're writing it, you're putting it in your brain. So a lot of those thoughts really have helped me.
And there may be some department store out there that might want
Yes,
your vacuum
yes,
helpline.
yes.
So what's your vacuum website?
It's vacuumhelpline.com, and that telephone number is 1-800-997-8227. 800-997-8227.
And the website?
Is vacuumhelpline.com.
That's wonderful. And I was looking on your website. You guys are very green, I noticed. That's a priority for you.
Yes. Yeah, well, we're remanufacturing. Now we have a factory. These vacuum cleaners are not thrown into the environment. Since I started the company, over probably 600,000 vacuum cleaners have been saved from the environment. And that's a lot of waste that would have gone into the environment. We save vacuum cleaners to 10 years, where they might have been thrown away for a broken belt when they were weeks old. And just by giving the store associate the support of and the education. They love the education. I can do that. You know, I can change a belt. I can unclog a vacuum.
And stuff, that the information they can take into their own homes.
Right, exactly.
We all need
exactly,
that, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so
Yes,
much, Diana.
yes. Oh, you're welcome.
We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.